Hello, my name is Alan Marks, and today we're going to talk about how to and what data to collect. You need data to test your hypothesis. You usually set up dependent and independent variables. The dependent variable is the variable that you're actually measuring. The independent variable is the variable that you're changing and setting to different values. You also need to be aware of other things that might affect the results and keep them constant. Now, in any measurement, there's natural variation. And in order to understand the variation, you need to do replicates. You need to repeat the exact same experiment with the same conditions several times. That's why we use statistics. Statistics is a proven method of understanding how much variation is in a measurement and whether or not you're actually seeing a difference in the values depending on your different independent variables. The guidelines for statistics we will be covering in another video. And later we're going to talk a little bit about the experimental design that might help you to understand the variation and whether you're actually seeing changes due to your independent variable. So what do we need to measure? We need to measure all variables, dependent, independent, and the things that you're keeping constant. Anything else that you're doing that might affect your results, and you need to have some measure of the accuracy. How you measure something depends on conventions that are established, which you can usually determine from your background research. You may also want to develop your own method of measuring the dependent variable. And if you do so, you need to qualify that by doing some preliminary experiments with known materials. You need to record and keep all measurements in your logbook, and especially the original data, in addition to any calculations you may do. Now, if you do calculations with your data in order to get your measurement, get your values, you need to explain those methods and show examples, at least one complete example in your logbook of a particular determination. You also need to comment on the accuracy and to be aware that your calculations may introduce or change your accuracy, like subtracting two similar quantities. You need to determine how you're going to display your results in your logbooks and on your poster. And you will need to show tables and graphs of your data. Whether to use a table or a graph is a personal choice, and we're going to talk about that in a later video where we talk about displays. You also need to determine summary statistics. If you run 5 replicates, you need to include both the replicates, the replicate values, as well as some central number like the average or median, and the spread of the values like a standard deviation or a maximum and minimum. So how do you choose the values for your independent value? You need to have enough of a change to be able to measure differences above the noise. And you determine that by doing, as I said before, what we call rangefinder experiments or some pilot studies. You also need to understand the difference between precision and accuracy. Precision has to do with the repeatability. If you repeat your experiment 5 times, the difference in the values that you obtain for your dependent variable is a measure of your repeatability or precision. The accuracy has to do with how close that average value is to the real value. Even though you may have a precise value, you may have introduced a systematic error that will enable your value to not be the same as the actual value that you want to measure. So, thank you very much for your attention, and I really want to wish you a lot of luck and have fun doing your experiment